Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Yes, I Am a Prophet of Doom. And this is based off of a question the Elder Pastor asked on the live at the camp yesterday. I was, me, the brother and myself, we were watching uh, 11 minutes, 11 seconds. I think it was the video's length was. And pretty much he played the part where Elder Pastor asked that question. And yes, I am a prophet of doom, and brothers are prophets of doom. All right, so I just typed in just before I got started. What is a prophet of doom? It says person who predicts disasters. The phrase prophet of doom designates a person who predicts disaster, a doomsayer, also a person who is especially unduly pessimistic about the future. In Britain, this phrase has especially been used in relation to Brexit. So pretty much, we are pessimistic concerning this world. We're not optimistic. Optimistic is one that looks, that looks at things in a positive light. A pessimist is one that looks at it in a negative light. And we look at this world in a negative light, the future of this world, because it's already prophesied in scripture that this place is going to be destroyed. All right, so we're going to start off here in the book of Ecclesiastes, the third chapter. I'm going to start at the first verse. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. So everything has a time and season to it. You have empires that rise and empires that fall. We just happen to be at the tail end of the final empire on the planet, the American Empire, Babylon the Great, and we're ushering in through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the announcement of the next kingdom to come, which is Yahushai's kingdom. All right. It says a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. So we're in the time of breaking down. The Lord is breaking down this empire, the American empire, and is building up the kingdom of Yahushai / Israel. It says a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time away Esau's kingdom. Just like when you go to Daniel, the 5th chapter, where Belshazzar and all his nobles and their wives were getting drunk and feasting, then they called in for the vessels of the Most High. And that's when you saw that hand that popped up. And it wasn't no white looking hand. It was a brown looking hand that started writing on the wall, many, many tekel upharsin, and no one could read it. So the Lord had Daniel come in there to interpret it for them. And pretty much the Lord told them that their time was up. So pretty much this time of the time of America is up also. I forgot who the brother that was bringing this out. This was, I think it was a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken, that NASA was looking through the heavens and they got a signal. And I'm not sure if they heard or they saw the words tekel, in the heavens. And pretty much, that's a sign that your world is coming to an end. And this is why they keep a lot of things secret. Years ago, there was this, I believe he was Issacharite. He was watching this live NASA feed on his big, screen TV that he had in his house, in his home. And all of a sudden, these big, gigantic, objects started to appear. And he said, "Oh shit, do you see that?" And he was pretty much calling them, so-called UFOs and all that. And then all of a sudden, while he was in the midst of, saying, "Oh shit, you see that," and like he was like like I won't say surprised, but like he was like in awe of what was going on, and all of a sudden they cut the live feed because these devils don't want the world to know what's coming. You know, they're hoping like hell that it won't come, it won't happen, but the Lord is going to take you out, and that's the purpose. That's the reason why, you know, this that's the reason why the Lord sends forth His prophets, you know, to prophesy and to tell you what's coming. Let's go real quick, and then we'll come right back to this. There's a scripture that keeps popping in my head and keeps going away. Okay, Barakatah Bashem Shah. Let's go here real quick, and we'll come right back to this so we can get a couple of verses on that. Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8, and then shall that wicked be revealed. Because the first part of bringing down the kingdom is the revelation of that kingdom and what that kingdom stands for and the wickedness it stands for. Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. And the spirit of the Lord's mouth is what? The prophets. That's why here in Jeremiah chapter 28, right, and verse 8, it says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied, both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. And this is what we're saying is coming. Yahushua said that to the disciples back then, which they in turn did this, but it also applies to today in Matthew the 10th chapter. Let's go there real quick. So our job is to prophesy the doom and destruction of this place. Matter of fact, another precept came to mind, so let me grab it real quick before I forget it. And then let's get back to this. Let me go back here. So Matthew 10, chapter 18, just going to go straight to the point. It says, and you shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. Because, you know, just like before the Lord delivered Israel from the land of Egypt, he set up Moses and Aaron to go to the Pharaoh to tell him, look, let my people go, or else the Lord is going to bring judgments upon you. And that's pretty much the same thing that's going on right now. And all throughout history, the prophets have been around. All throughout history, the prophets have been around. Let's go real quick to the book of Luke, chapter 1. Then we'll come right back to this just to make a point out of here. So our job is to speak against this society, speak against this system, speak against this country, speak against this empire, you know, of doom and of gloom that's coming for them. So Luke 1:70, it says, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. So the prophets have been here from the beginning. That's why when Eve and Adam went off, I said it that way because Eve went off first. When they went off, you know, Adam heard the voice of the Lord in the cool of the day. Meaning that was the prophets speaking back then, because the prophets were around even back in those times. All right. So the prophets have always been around, and the job of that's why the prophets were not liked. That's why the prophets were always killed, because the message that the prophets brought, which was the message of the Heavenly Father, was not a good message to kingdoms. It was not a good, for the most part, was not a good message to kings of Israel, you know, to leaders of Israel, so on and so forth. You know, that's why when Elijah came in to the city of, I believe that was Bethlehem, if I'm not mistaken, to crown King David king, Salakia, the Jake back then was asking him, are you coming in peace, or, you know, because they knew once the prophet came around, it was, you know, it was either bad news or good news. And for the most part, it was always bad news, you know? And that's why the prophets were killed, because of the message that they conveyed from the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You know, and Jake didn't like it. The nations didn't like it. That's why they got locked up. Why do you think the Apostle John was on the island of Patmos? Why do you think Peter was locked up in prison? The Apostle Paul, the apostles got locked up. in prisons. Men of the Lord got locked up in prisons. Why? Because the message that they had was against, those different countries and different empires and different, rulerships. So Isaiah 13:2 says, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. What is the banner? The banner is the Bible. You can go to Psalms chapter 60, verse 4, and it'll tell you that. What is the high mountain? Because a mountain, sometimes a mountain represents a mountain, but in this case, it's representation of a government. All right. But in this case, it's a high mountain. It's not just a mountain, it's a high mountain, high government. And the highest government on the planet right now is the government of America, Babylon the Great, which is spiritually known as Sodom and Egypt. So the Bible being lifted up on the high mountain represents the prophets out there speaking and prophesying against this place. And this is the reason why the Lord gave Esau the technology of the Urim and the Thummim, which they call the internet, for the purpose of the prophets to do these videos to let them know what their future is. And their future is grim. Their future is bleak. Their future doesn't look very good. It says, exalt thy voice unto them, shake the hand. So when you're lifting up the Bible upon this high mountain and you're exalting the voice and shaking the hand, you're cursing this devil out. And this is why they've been, looking for ways to get rid of us off these streets, because the message that we bring, which is the message of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, is not favorable to them. And when you go to, I believe that's either Wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter, they said that let us examine him, see if he really is the son of the Lord, so on and so forth. That's what they want to do. They want to, but making it to where they paint us in a bad light. This is why you have devils like Vocab, Heyman Malone, and others trying to paint us in a bad light so that they can have an excuse to roll and to do away with the message that we're bringing. And all we're doing is bringing out the scriptures of the Bible, telling them what's going to come in the future. We ain't doing nothing physical. We ain't going to be doing the destroying and all that. We're just here to give you the message that the Lord told us to give you, because we are the prophets of doom. It said that they may go into the gates of the nobles. See, in the gates of the nobles are where the both right now the gates of the nobles would be like the top government, which is the American government, senators, governors and all that. But the gates of the nobles, the real gates of the nobles represent these international banking families, which are pulling the puppet strings from behind the scenes. You see, the governments that you see are just puppet governments. The president and all that, those are puppets. That's why Elon Musk's little son, he can't be no more than maybe 5 years old or something, 4 years old. He's son Trump, and Trump is supposed to be the president. He said, "Shut up, you're not the president." So he didn't come up with that on his own. He probably heard his father say that to Trump. Oh, look, just shut up, Trump. Okay, you're not the president, all right? Because you don't know the way that these people talk to these minions that are beneath them behind closed doors. Now, in front of everybody else, they treat them like they're the individual that's really running things, but they're not. So that they may go into the gates of the noble. It says, I have commanded my sanctified ones. And the sanctified ones are the prophets. And this is the one, this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're not supposed to be, set up to give marriage counsels and, to perform weddings, to clean up the community. Why would we clean up the community when the Lord is going to destroy the community? Why are we going to waste time trying to build this place up when the Lord is going to destroy it? The job of the prophet is to prophesy and to curse people out and to tell them about the impending danger that's coming. And if you don't get right, you're going to be destroyed. Bottom line, that's why the prophets were killed. That's why the prophets were hated. Remember Ahab, he didn't like Micah. Why? Because he said, he probably don't never prophesy nothing good to me. So give me these 400 or 450 or I believe it was 400 false prophets, and so they can stroke my ego. you know. But no, don't bring him over here because he's gonna prophesy bad about me. And what did he say? Put him in the prison, feed him with the bread of affliction till I come back. And then Micah said, if you come back, then the Lord had not spoken to me. And guess what? He never came back. He went into battle disguised, made Jehoshaphat go as dressed as a king. They got Jehoshaphat. He yelled out, and because they thought it was the king. And then when they saw it wasn't him, they didn't kill him. And then somebody just shot an arrow out of nowhere, and they caught Ahab, because the Lord had him marked. You see? So that's why, because the Lord used Micah to tell him what was going to happen, that he was going to fall at Ramoth Gilead. You see? It says, I have called my mighty ones for mine anger. These are the angels, even them that rejoice in my highness. So, we already read that. Okay. We already did that. All right, so let's go back to 2 Thessalonians 2:8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy it with the brightness of his coming. So first step is, revelation. Second step is sentencing. Third step is judgment. So we are giving them the sentence that the Lord told us to give them, and eventually the Lord will come and destroy them when the time is appropriate. All right. So now let's go from there to 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Right. And we're coming into that time now, because as you see, they're cornering the market. They're disrupting everything. They're pushing everything in a digital, corral, so to speak. And people are starting to lose it. People are, 2020, they fighting over toilet tissue. 2025, they're fighting over eggs, So it's going to get worse. And these devils are pretty much cornering everybody into a corner and experimenting. If we tell them that there's going to be a toilet tissue shortage, let's see how they act if we tell them there's going to be an egg shortage. And you can see exactly what's going on. I think Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, if I'm not mistaken. That was the name of the episode on Twilight Zone. And it shows you how people will pretty much gorge each other, destroy each other. When they, this is what Esau had. Esau has everybody like in a blender of confusion. To bug out. Even best friends, as you read on down, there's even best friends that are going to go at each other's throats. It says, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. Why? Because it's not going to be good. So this is what we're telling you. We're telling you that these things are coming. The Lord commanded us to come out here and tell you that these things are coming. So yes, we are the prophets of doom. And we're telling you that doom is coming. This place is not going to last forever. This place is doomed to destruction. All right. So let's move on. Amos chapter 3, verse 6. So remember it said when you hear the trumpet shall give an uncertain sound, that everybody shall be suddenly afraid. Or Amos 3 and 6, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Because the trumpet was an alarm of war. And the alarm of war is that America's impending doom is coming. And we're seeing all the signs play out. The prophets have been prophesying on the streets, going back to the 60s, even to the present. And now the Lord is opening up even the floodgates of judgment even more. Because as each day goes by, we're getting closer and closer to the destruction of this place. That's what the scriptures speak about, hastening the day. Not, saying we could be here for another 1,000 years. Forget about it. Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord have not done it? Right, because the Lord is the one that is commanding these things to happen on the planet. He's the one that's bringing forth these judgments. He's the one that's sending these scourges for amendment. He's the one that's bringing the plagues and all this stuff that you see happening, whether they're man-made or not. It says, surely the Lord power will do nothing. So before he actually commits to doing any of these acts, any of these judgments, he says, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. And once the Lord reveals the secrets unto the servants, the prophets go out and prophesy. And eventually, once they prophesy for a certain period of time, then the Lord brings the destruction. You know, not before that time. It says the lion hath roared, and who will not fear? The Lord power hath spoken. Who can but prophesy? That's it. You know. Now, you know, you always have these dudes that talk shit about us. You know, what about the year 2000 prophecy, this, that, and the other? Well, the bottom line, that was a part of the doctrine back then. There were scriptures that went along with it, you know. But nevertheless, the Lord is still going to destroy this place, regardless of if he didn't destroy it before the year 2000 or by the year 2000. He's still going to destroy it. When Jonah prophesied, he prophesied that the Lord was going to destroy Nineveh in 40 days, and he didn't destroy it in 40 days. He didn't even destroy it in the lifetime of Jonah. But eventually, didn't the Lord destroy Nineveh? Yeah. So I typed in on Google, right? I typed in, let's see if I can find it. How long after Jonah prophesied the fall of Nineveh did it happen? And this is what I got, the AI overview. According to the Bible, Jonah prophesied that Nineveh would be overthrown yet 40 days. After he delivered his message, meaning the fall of Nineveh was expected to happen very soon after his prophecy, within a 40-day time frame. However, the Bible does not specify the exact time frame between Jonah's prophecy and the actual fall of Nineveh. As the people of Nineveh repented and the Most High spared the city, so the event never actually occurred during Jonah's lifetime, right? Now, it says Jonah was an 8th century prophet, 750 BC, estimate, because it's estimated. Nineveh fell 612 BC, a firm date. So about 150 years after Jonah warned Assyria of its impending doom. So they fell. They didn't fall at the time when Jonah said they would, but eventually they fell. And his job was just to go there as a prophet of doom, tell them that the Lord's going to destroy them. And eventually the Lord did destroy them, you know, roughly about 150 years into the future. You see? So Jonah was a prophet. The prophets were prophets of doom, and we are prophets of doom. So now let's move on. Matthew 24 and 45. The point is a little further down. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom the Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Blessed is that servant, whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Verily I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. And if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken, the Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware, and shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's doom. Let's look up those two words, weeping. Weeping is the word klauthmos. Klauthmos. Weeping, lamentation. Oh, another precept came to mind. Let me just grab that real quick. Come on, let's go. Come on, stop stalling. Oh no, Salaki, wrong book. Let me just grab this. Have that on deck. All right, let's go back. Matthew 24, gnashing of teeth. Let's go look up the word gnashing. Brigmos. A gnashing of teeth, used to denote extreme anguish and utter despair of men consigned to eternal punishment in hell. This is bullshit. But the point of extreme anguish and utter despair in these times, men's hearts failing them for fear for the things that are coming upon the earth, for looking at the things that are coming on the earth, snarling, growling in the sense of biting, because they're going to be horrified. They're going to be petrified. All right. So let's go from there, because it says weeping and gnashing of teeth, right? Now, Ezekiel 2 and 9, and when I looked, behold, and lo, a roll of a book was therein before me, and it was written within and without. This is talking about the Bible. And there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe. So that's what we're supposed to be speaking about. Woe, the destruction of this place. All right, not the salvation of this place, not the rehabilitation of this place, not this place could go for another 1,000 years. No, we're supposed to be hastening the day and prophesying against the destruction of this place. You know, prophecy wise, it's looking good, and because it is, because the Lord is going to bring this place to an end, and it's not going to change. And even let's say it died down a little bit, it's going to keep bubbling up. We're at the birth pains of America. We're at the end of the delivery for the nation of Israel, the elect, and the destruction of this place. America is travailing like a woman in labor pains. This is the last month, the last semester of a woman's pregnancy. Anyway, let's go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 7. I'm going to read a couple of verses and jump 7 and 33. And the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away. That's for the Israelites, the elect. And the long suffering shall have an end because of all the curses and the different things that we've gone through. But judgment only shall remain, truth shall stand, and faith shall wax strong. So like it. And the work that follow, and the reward shall be showed, and the good deeds shall be a force. See, this is why you building up your spiritual bank account, you know, that's going to be a force. That's going to be, you know, knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. And wicked deeds shall bear no rule. Why? Because the wicked deeds that you're committing, even though you may not be getting judged right away, eventually that's going to lead to your utter destruction. Now, we're going to jump down to the 43rd verse. I go to 42. He answered me and said, this present life is not the end where much glory doth abide. Because when the Lord showed this vision to Ezra, this was roughly around 400, 500 BC. So it wasn't time yet. You still had another at least 2,500 years in the future before the destruction would come. Therefore have they prayed for the weak. But the day of doom, see, prophets of doom, shall be the end of this time. The day of doom shall be the end of this time. So that's what we're set up to do, to prophesy the doom, the destruction, the gloom of this place. You know, how the elements shall melt with fervent heat, how these different movies that these devils have been putting out for years, you know, going back to the 70s, 80s, even before that, 90s, that these things that they show you where the nuclear destruction comes and it wipes people out, that's going to actually happen to America, Babylon the Great. That is the judgment that the Apostle John saw when he was in Yahweh's chariot, looking down the lake of fire. That's what he saw. He saw America totally engulfed in fire. He saw the land of Israel totally engulfed in fire. And whatever other place is going to get hit. But the total annihilation of Babylon the Great is prophesied. And that is doom. And that is you can read, you go to Isaiah the 34th chapter, perfect example. We're just reading Isaiah 13. Isaiah 13 goes into it also, and many other scriptures of the destruction of this place where the elements are going to melt with fervent heat. The movie Judgment Day, the second Terminator movie. You had the movie Knowing, and I'm sure there's other movies that show the destruction. The sum of all fears, and that's the thing that people dread the most is a nuclear war, because nuclear war is going to bring about much devastation, and that's why the earth is going to be rocking to and fro like a drunkard, to where the angels of the Lord are going to have to hold the earth together so it doesn't explode. 200 million missiles, which are 200 million warheads. It says, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. Right? Because in the kingdom there will be no corruption. We will not be corrupted. We would these bodies that we have will be changed into an incorruptible body. Our spirit, our mind is going to be changed into a mind that accepts the law, statutes, and commandments, which is the final upgrade for the elect of the Lord. And eventually the rest of Israel will come later, the ones that don't make it in this time. But right now the Lord is polishing up, the beginning rulers of the next kingdom under Yahushua. And this is why brothers are going through all the hell that they're going through. And if the spirit is with you, you're going to see and realize that and hold on. But a lot of individuals are going to get offended because they're going to say, I didn't sign up for this, because you didn't understand what you were a part of, because you're not a part of the elect. Everything we go through is necessary to get us to the next level. You got to understand that the times that are coming are going to be very hard. So what kind of, when you read the scriptures in Job, right, in Psalms, where it says that destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, that's not a laughing matter. But what type of mindset would a person have to be in to be able to laugh at these things, at these serious calamities? And that's where the Lord is putting us through the ringer, so that when these things come, it won't even faze us. We'll be able to look past all of that. Why? Because the Lord is going to have us in a calm state of mind, to where the world is going to be bugging out, because the Lord gave us, the secret of why these things are happening. And he told us that it wouldn't affect us. Now, some of the elect are going to get touched. We don't know which one of us is going to have to be put to death and beheaded or whatever. But for the most part, the elect are going to be straight. My servant shall eat, my servant shall drink, my servant shall sing for joy of heart. It says, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past, and temperance is at an end, infidelity is cut off, which is unfaithfulness, righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. Because at the end of the day, all of these lies that have been taught are going to be crumbled by the truth. Then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor to oppress him that hath gotten the victory. You see? So this is what we're waiting for. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.